When you're feeling stuck or lost or sad, do something challenging. It won't just lift your spirits, it can help transform your life. I would start with something you already have an interest in or have been planning to pick back up. The reason in doing that is very simple. You can find enjoyment in the challenge and you can more easily enter the flow state. This can help you move past those tough spots, take your mind away, and focus on the present moment. It can also help you improve satisfaction with your chosen activity. For those who are unfamiliar, flow state is when you're so focused on what you're doing that everything feels effortless. To get there, your challenge needs to match your current skill level. Another side benefit that I've found is that it can take those moments of helplessness, rage, anger, pain, guilt, sadness, regret, and any other negative emotion that you're feeling and convert it into something that you can actually affect. You can take action and not let those people or situations control your life. You can start to win your control and your sense of self back. If you want to know what I personally did that inspired this therapy session video in the first place, check out the full video or continue watching. Now that you know what flow state is, let's talk about how you can achieve it and why it's so transformative. To get into the flow state, your activity needs to challenge you but still feel achievable. If you look at these charts right here, too much challenge can lead to anxiety and too little to boredom. The sweet spot is in the middle. If we look at this first one, it's going to have challenges on the left and it's going to have abilities. I should say it's going to have challenges going up and down. It's going to have abilities going left to right. If I remember my graphs, it should be challenges on Y, abilities on X. If you look at the top left, you're going to see anxiety, which is stressed and alert. That's the higher your challenge goes up and the lower your abilities to handle that challenge are, you're going to feel anxious, you're going to feel stressed. Things aren't going to make a lot of sense. You're not going to be able to handle it. Vice versa. If you pick something where your skill level is way higher than what you're actually doing, you're going to feel like you can handle it. It's not going to really stimulate you. You're going to kind of be upset, or not even upset, just depressed and not really have any emotional stimulation. You're going to feel content with what's going on. Excuse me. When you look at the middle, that's really where you want to be, because that's where you can grow. That's where you get energized. That's where you find the joy, and that's where you find the fun, which is where, again, the challenge meets your skill level where you're at. And this is a constantly changing loop. This is a constantly changing thing based on what's going on. So if you look at the second graph that I have, essentially it's going to pretty much state the same thing, but it's going to have a couple different steps, right? So again, challenge is going to be high arousal, low arousal. Skill is going to be high skill, low skill. Okay. Now, if we look at the challenge and if we look at the flow state in the middle, that's where it kind of gets interesting, because again, you see it starts from increasing skills to decreasing challenge, to then you have less demanding skill, which then you increase the challenge. So for example, as you're watching this gameplay, you know, I start with a certain skill level, then the challenges start to get a little bit harder. Then as I get better, then the challenge gets a little bit lower, and then the skills have to rise back up to meet the challenge that just increased. I don't know if I said that correctly, but if you look at the chart, it's a loop that kind of keeps going in and of itself. As long as you're in that state, you're gonna feel exactly what I'm talking about. Now, it is okay to start slowly and to build up. You do not have to climb Mount Everest in a day in order to enter the flow state. I would start from where you're at currently and then just do something a little bit harder. If you work out, right, just try adding 1 to maybe 5 more reps in the set you're doing now, or potentially add in another set. You could even do the next progression. So for example, if you know how to do push-ups, you could start moving to wide grip push-ups, or you could try to do pike push-ups. I'd have to actually look at the push-up progression chart again to give you the right one. But wherever you're at, literally start doing the next one over. If you're playing a video game and you're able to look to beat the next boss, or you can do survival mode, or you can do a one-off challenge on the hardest difficulty, and there are literally so many other things I could tell you that I could make an entire hour-long video of challenges you could do, and that still wouldn't be enough. But trust me, there's at least one that you could do that you have an interest in that you could start doing today. So what I've done recently is I fought Fiend Ryu in Ninja Gaiden 1's challenge mode on very hard, using the same weapon that he has, Lunar Staff, and no healing items. Okay? Now, you've been seeing clips of this or seeing my gameplay of this the entire time. At first, I tried fighting 2 Fiend Ryus at once, but that was way too hard. That was not going to get me anywhere. Now, I've used the staff in Ninja Gaiden before. I like the weapon, I have fun with it, but I prefer it in Ninja Gaiden 2, and obviously this game is not that, so I'm not as familiar with the weapon in this game, so it makes it a good place for me to start. And I picked the mission where he has the same weapon and I have the same weapon, so I could switch at any time, but I wanted to do a mirror match. I need to fight my own demons. I need to really be able to best myself or best his challenge without any sort of gimmicks or any sort of unfair advantage. I want to fight him the same way he's fighting me. Now, another thing that I also did recently is I started relearning the nunchucks, right? 1, not 2. So ever since I saw Michelangelo and Bruce Lee use this weapon when I was younger, I fell in love and started learning them ever since. Other characters obviously use nunchucks, and I still have an affinity for them as well, but those 2 are the ones that I first saw when I was really, really little. It's a fun weapon that is flashy yet foundational in its skill, and it requires focus and discipline in order to use it effectively. And then just for funsies, because I wasn't even paying attention, I just started adding hip-hop dancing into it, which is another hobby that I've been doing for a very long time. Ever since I started watching Usher and then Chris Brown doing it, I just built it up and fell in love with it and just kept practicing and things like that. And when I tell you, it's like Reese's or peanut butter and jelly, the way that those things combined for me, it was like a missing piece that I'd always thought about, but I never actually took the time to try it until then, and it was nothing short of life-changing, because recently I've been practicing my martial arts, my dancing, and just working out in general. So I've been working on all those 3 pieces individually recently again. So when I started putting these pieces again in a different way, it was life-changing. Like, it was nothing I never would have thought of before until this moment. And expect more of hip-hop dancing with nunchucks on the channel. I don't want to get too into it, but just trust me, when everything works out, it's gonna be sick, right? So last little bit of thing is that if your challenge has natural checkpoints like beating a level, landing a trick, or hitting a PR, you should consider stopping after a great run. If you didn't hit the challenge, like if you're going for a boss fight and you're in a really good moment and you hit the flow state and you don't win, stop right there. It's okay to take breaks, it's okay to come back, rest is a part of the growth, because at least for me personally, I found that once I do something that level and I get through the flow state and I don't make it, any attempt after that is going to be diminishing returns, because I already spent a lot of energy, I've already been in there and I didn't complete it. So trying to force myself and trying to push myself to keep going sometimes doesn't really work that well. Sometimes I get lucky and it works, other times I just spend hours or 2 trying to push past the point where I should have stopped. So excuse me. I did that on my second attempt of fighting Fiend Ryu. I got to the flow state, I didn't win, and then next thing you know, I was like, after the next 3, I was like, nope, it's time to go. I'm done. It's too late. And then I came back on the 3rd attempt, which you're probably seeing at this point right now, and I won. Very convincingly, might I add, because I took everything I learned from the first 2 sessions and then just did it again for the 3rd one, while also being better. But I am curious, for anybody else who gets into the flow state and does challenges and tries to complete challenges, what is the favorite challenge that you actually do when you're in this moment? Let me know and tell me that in the comment section below. I hope this video helped you out, and I hope this video finds the people that it needs to find. And just so you know, you're not alone. We're in this journey together. You have a great day, great night, and I'll catch you on the next video. Take care.